Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this fifth session of doing Tabligh. We've been gracious to have Mr. Naseem Bajwa to give his expertise on such a vast topic. As you know, the last few sessions we've been talking about how to do Tabligh to non-Ahmadi friends. And for today's session, we'll be concentrating on your questions that you have. So we've already got some questions that were sent to us prior to the session, and we'll kick off with that. But in the meantime, if you would like to ask a question to Bajwa, there are two ways in which you can do that. You can either raise your hand on Zoom. There's a function in your in the bottom. If you raise your hand, I will see it and I can unmute you and you can ask your question directly. Alternatively, there is the chat option. So if you click on the chat option, you can send a message. Now, for those who would like to stay anonymous, only I can see the questions that you raised through there. So nobody else will, and I can ask your question on your behalf. So again, just those two forms again. If you would like to raise your hand, I can unmute you and you can ask your question directly. Alternatively, if you use the chat function within Zoom, the questions will get sent directly just to me, and only I will be able to see it, and I can ask your question on your behalf. We will try to rattle through as many of the questions as we can in the time. So please, as I said, keep the questions coming, and we'll go through them one by one. So Bajwa, with your permission, I'd like to start with the first question that was sent to us. Non-Ahmadis put Nabi body hadith in favor of their response that no prophet can come of any nature whatsoever. What is the reality and context of this hadith? Before, could you please just give everyone a summary on what that hadith is, please?
All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah for your question. You know, whenever we speak to our non-Ahmadi brothers, we should always remember that they have many misconceptions about Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani al-Islam and about the Jamaat Ahmadiyya. So before we say anything, we should tell them what is the belief of Hazrat Masih Maud Islam in his own words. So first of all, I'll read just one quotation from one of his books called Chashma-e-Marifat. And he says that मैं उस यानी अल्लाह के रसूल पर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम पर दिली सिद्क से ईमान लाया हूँ, यानी हज़रत मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम पर, और जानता हूँ कि तमाम नबूवतें उस पर ख़त्म हैं और उसकी शरीयत ख़ातम-उश-शराए है, मगर एक किस्म की नबूवत ख़त्म नहीं, यानी वो नबूवत जो उसकी कामिल पैरवी से मिलती है और जो उसके चिराग में से नूर लेती है, वो ख़त्म नहीं, क्योंकि वो मोहम्मदी नबूवत है, यानी उसका ज़िल है और उसी के ज़रिए से है और उसी का मज़हर है और उसी से फैज़याब है. The translation of this quotation is that the Prophet Messiah, peace be upon him, says that with my heart and soul, I believe in his Prophet, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, that is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and know that all kinds of prophethoods have culminated in him, and that this law is the last law, that is the last of that is the law of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is Holy Quran. Yet there is a type of prophethood which has not been banned. That is to say, the prophethood that is acquired through following him implicitly, wherein is reflected his own light. This is because this, in fact, is a part of the prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, and is his own reflection derived through his beneficence only. So this is the belief of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, and in fact is the belief of all the prophets, all the ulama of Islam who came after Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in fact, I presented many quotations last week, and today, inshallah, again I'll present some of them. Another thing is that in the last lecture, I presented some verses of the Holy Quran, where Allah Ta'ala very clearly says that the prophets will continue to come. For example, the verse which I presented that last time was from Surah Al-Hajj, chapter 22, verse 76, where Allah the Almighty says, Allahu yastafi min al-malaikati rusulun wa min an-nas. Allah chooses and will continue to choose messengers from among the angels and from among the men as well. So after having this belief and this verse of the Quran, how anybody, any Muslim can say that there will be no prophet of any kind, and how anybody can accept any saying which is contrary to it, because hadith will be acceptable only if it does not contradict the Holy Quran. So Holy Prophet ﷺ cannot say anything contrary to the Holy Quran. Another verse which I would like to present today is in chapter 7, verse 76, where Allah the Almighty says, Ya bani Adama, imma yati jannakum rasulun minkum yakussuna alaykum ayati, faman ittaqa wa aslaha fala khawfun alayhim wa lahum yahzanun. That is chapter 7, verse 36, which says, O children of Adam, and Allah Ta'ala is saying to us, O children of Adam, if messengers come to you from among yourselves, rehearsing my signs unto you, then whoso shall fear God and do good deeds, on them shall come no fear, nor shall they grieve. Now here you see very clearly Allah the Almighty is instructing and commanding all the Muslims that if prophets come and if messengers of God come to you, you must accept them. So if no prophet was going to come, then how the Holy Quran could have said these words? And then I also presented a verse of the Quran last time that Allah Ta'ala says in chapter 4, verse 70, that by following Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muslims will be able to attain prophethood, siddiqiyat, and some will be shaheed, some will be salih. So Nabi, Siddiq, Shaheed, Saleh, all four kinds of grades of righteousness are attainable by following Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa. This is what the Holy Quran says. So now we have to understand every hadith or any saying in the light of this. And now I'll speak on this hadith. The question is that non-Ahmadi put La Nabi Abadi hadith in favor of their response that no prophet can come of any nature whatsoever. What is the reality and context to this hadith? You see, one context is mentioned in the book that once when Hazrat Holy Prophet ﷺ was going to the Battle of Tabligh, he asked Hazrat Ali to stay behind, and he appointed him as Amir in his absence. At that time, the Holy Prophet ﷺ saw that Hazrat Ali is not very happy that he is being left behind, and he's not going to take part in the battle. So at that time, the Holy Prophet ﷺ said to him, Ya Aliyo, ama tarza an takuna minni ka Haruna min Musa, ghayra annaka lasta nabiyyan. That, oh Ali, are you not happy that your position is just like the position of Hazrat Harun al-Islam, that when Musa al-Islam was going to Tur, he left Hazrat Harun al-Islam behind him to look after the community of believers. So he said that your position is the same. But at the same time he said, but remember that you are not prophet after me. So that was a particular context at that time. But this has come in different places, in different ways. But what does it mean? That is the point. Now, I will present to you about many quotations, but I have many, but I'll just read few of them. For example, Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, she once said, and this is quoted in Durr Mansur, volume 5, page 204, which was written by Allama Jalaluddin Suyuti Rahmatullah, who was Mujaddid of the 9th century. He is accepted by all Muslims. He said that Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala once said, O ye Muslims, do proclaim that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was Khatam-un-Nabiyyin, but never say that there shall be no prophet after him. So in other words, she is saying that this hadith, or this saying of this word of the Holy Quran, that he is Holy Khatam-un-Nabiyyin, does not mean that there will be no prophet of any kind. But again, the question was raised that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that there will be no prophet after me, then how should reconcile it? So then the ulama has given the answer to this. Shaykhul Imam Ibn Qatiba, rahimahullah ta'ala, who died in 267 after Hijrah, he said that this statement of Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha does not go against what the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had said, that La Nabi Abadi, because what the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually meant was that no prophet would come after him who would abrogate his code of law. This is in the book Tawil Mukhtalil Hadith, page 236. That this is what the ulama of Islam has understood, that La Nabi Abadi means that there will be no prophet who come to abrogate the law of the Holy Quran. And this is exactly what we Ahmadi believe, that nobody can abrogate the law of the Holy Quran. And as Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadian Islam has said that I am the servant of Islam. I've just come to spread the message of Islam in all parts of the world. Then Hazrat Imam Muhammad Tahir Gujarati, who was also a Mujaddid, and he died in 1578 AD. 1578 AD. He said about the same hadith, he says that this view of Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, that do not say that there will be no prophet after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says that this view of Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala is based on the assumption that Jesus, peace be upon him, was expected to come down, or was expected to appear. This view too does not contradict the saying of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that there is no prophet after me, that is La Nabi Abadi. What he meant, that is what the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam meant from this hadith to say, was that there shall be no prophet after him who shall abrogate his law. Same thing. This is in the book Takmila Majmal Bihar, page 85. So again, you see, all Muslims have clarified this hadith, and they said that this hadith only means that a prophet who abrogates the law of Islam, a law of the Holy Quran, he cannot come. But a person, a prophet who is obedient servant to Holy Quran and Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his appearance is not against this hadith, La Nabi Abadi. Now another quotation is of Hazrat Mullah Ali Qari Rahmatullah. He was also a great scholar, and all Muslims believe in him. And he died in 1606 AD. So all these people were before the Ahmadiyya Jamaat, and they have explained what these ahadith and the verse of the Holy Quran mean. So he said that according to the ulama, that is religious scholars, the words La Nabi Abadi mean that no prophet in the future shall be raised who shall abrogate the law of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is in Al-Ishat fi Ashrat Isa, page 226. Then Hazrat Abdul Wahab Sharani, who died in 1568, he also explained the same this hadith and says it means that there should be no law-bearing prophet after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the meaning, that there will be no prophet who comes with a new law. Then Hazrat Shah Wali Shah Sahib Muhaddis Ali, who is also very well known among all the Muslims, he died in 1176 AD, and he said that from the sayings of the Holy Prophet sallam, La Nabi Abadi and La Rasul, we come to understand that prophethood that has ceased is the law-bearing prophethood. So he also said that whenever he said that there will be no prophet and there will be no messenger after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that means that no law-bearing prophet will come after him, but a prophet who is under the Holy Quran, under the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he can come because he is a servant. He is just going to spread the message of Islam in the world. He is going to tell us the true meaning of the Holy Quran. Then Hazrat Hafiz Fakbar Khurdar, he was Naqshbandi, and he said, explaining this hadith, he said that the meaning of this hadith is that there is no prophet after me, that is after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who shall be raised with a new law, except when God wishes to raise from among the prophets and the saints. He has also given the exception as well. He said, and this is from Nibras, and the book, name of the book is Nibras, 45 footnote. That he says that this hadith means that there will be no law-bearing prophet, but if any other prophet comes who is not law-bearing, or any saint come, then that is not against this La Nabi Abadi hadith. So now you can see, in fact, there are many other quotations there which indicate the same meaning. So after having all this explanation, I think there is no doubt that whatever Ahmadiyya Jamaat believes, that is exactly the same what all the previous ulama were saying. And in fact, how any Muslim can say that there will be no prophet when he already believes that Hazrat Isa alayhi salam will come as a prophet of God. So the only question can be raised that whether it is the same Jesus who will come, or it is somebody from among the Muslims who will come. And that is also explained by the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that he is Imam Mahdi. And he said, Walal Mahdiullah Isa ibn Maryam. There is no Mahdi except Jesus, son of Mary. So he's saying Imam Mahdi and Jesus is one and the same person. And about Imam Mahdi, all Muslims believe that he will be born. So it is very clear that this means that Imam Mahdi will have many qualities which will resemble to Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Bajwa, I think you've been muted.
Now, I think there's another question. Is there any other question, please?
Yes, Islam Khan Sahib would actually like to comment. Would like to ask a question on this one that you're just questioning. So I'll unmute you now. Islam Khan Sahib.
Assalamu alaikum, Bajwa Sahib. First of all, it's been very good to see you again. You once very kindly came to Inverness when I used to live there. My father, Rashidullah Khan Sahib, knew you very well. The question I have, I think the moderator is going to come to another question, but regarding the Khatam-un-Nabiyyin, this is a very important issue that is being hotly debated on many sort of social media channels. The question I have is that if, as you and Ahmadis, as we Ahmadis believe, that a number of Mujaddideen that you have quoted had already indicated that La Nabi Abadi did not exclude the possibility of further prophets. They then quote from Izalai Oham, Hamamatul Bushra, Ainai Kamalat Islam, which are writings of the promised Messiah. And I quote, the promised Messiah actually at that time said that he is a muhaddis, and that the claim of being a prophet is not correct. Lay no claim whatever to actual prophethood. And there are a number of such quotations where he said that. So my question really is that if Later on, he claimed to be a prophet, but at the time he wrote these writings, he claimed to be a muhaddis. So would he not be aware of the various quotes that you have already cited of the Mujaddideens? And why did the promised Messiah not have the same view at that time?
Ji, Jazakallah, thank you very much. You see, the thing is, the Holy Prophet ﷺ has said, Kallimin nasa hasba uqulihim, that speak to the people according to their understanding. Now, in the beginning, when Prophet Messiah started writing books, he knew that the general belief of the people is that a messenger and a prophet is he who brings a book. And he didn't want to confuse people that if he says that I'm a messenger or a prophet, they will understand as if I'm claiming that I have brought in a new book. So this is why he didn't use the word prophet or Rasul. And the other thing is that the prophets of Allah always do things when Allah Ta'ala asks them to do something. So at that time, Allah Ta'ala didn't tell him this. This is why when he took the bath in 1889, he didn't say that I am the promised Messiah, I am Imam Mahdi or anything. He just said that I am the Mujaddid of the 14th century. This is what Allah told him. That at the head of every century, the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that the Mujaddids will come, and he said, I have come in accordance to that hadith of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And later on, when Allah Ta'ala disclosed to him that he is the promised Messiah and Imam Mahdi, and then he said, yes, I am the promised Messiah and Imam Mahdi. And then slowly, he prepared the minds of people so that they can understand that there are two kinds of prophets. One, prophets who bring the new law, and the others who do not bring the new law. So this is why he kept on saying these both things. I'm messenger, and sometimes he says I'm not messenger. Then, but he was explaining every time what he means. But still, you see, some people were not clear about it. So what he did, that in 1901, he wrote a special book only on this topic. And that book is called Ek Galati Ka Izala, a misunderstanding removed, a misconception removed. It's only about 15, 16 pages. And what he says there, he starts like this. He says that somebody asked one of my followers that the person in whom you believe, that is Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani Islam, is he a prophet? And he answered that no, he is not a prophet. And Huzur says that this is the mistake which I want to remove. And then he clarifies further, and he says, wherever I have used the word that I am not messenger, that I mean that I have not brought a book. So that means that he's admitting himself that I have said in many places I'm not a messenger. And then he also says that I have said in many places that I am a prophet and messenger. So now he's clarifying it, so that nobody can say in future now that, oh, still we are not clear about it. So after he said these words, then he never said that I'm not a messenger, I'm not a prophet. Although he continued to explain this, that I am Ummati Nabi. From one side I'm Ummati, that is follower of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and on the other side I'm Nabi. And he also explained that this status which he has attained, or Allah Ta'ala has granted him, that is only because following Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And he said this kind of prophethood has never come before. Why? Because there was no Khatam-un-Nabiyyin before. Khatam-un-Nabiyyin is that prophet. By following him, you can attain the position of prophethood, this kind of particular prophethood. So although there were prophets before Hazrat Masih Maud Islam and before Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who were not law-bearing prophet, but Hazrat Masih says that in fact I am a third kind of prophet. That not only that I am not law-bearing, but I am also complete obedient to Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And in that capacity I have come. And the reason is that Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the only one who is Khatam-un-Nabiyyin, and his book is the book which is preserved intact, and you can follow it. And there is no other prophet whose book is preserved, or his example is preserved, that you can follow him. So it was not possible before, but now it was possible. This is why Allah Ta'ala has made this law, that now only that person can be a prophet who follow the Holy Quran and follow Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Jazakallah, thank you very much. The next question we've got is, does the term Khatam-un-Nabiyyin mean last of law-bearing prophets or the epitome of the prophets? As the term law-bearing is not there, is it interpreted like this because it is implied in connection with other Quranic verses?
That's right. Other Quranic verses, other ahadith, which I have already quoted, that if this explanation was not made, then it will mean that there is contradiction in the Holy Quran and hadith. At one side, it is saying that prophets will come. At another side, that it says no prophet will come. So there will be contradiction. So it was a duty of the Muslim ulama to explain it. That what does it mean? And they have done their duty. And this is why I have presented so many quotations of the previous ulama. So we are not saying anything new. We are just presenting those references which explain these ahadith and the verses of the Holy Quran.
Just on that first part again, Khatam-un-Nabiyyin, does that mean there is the Holy Prophet ﷺ was the last law-bearing prophet, or was he just the epitome of the prophets, the best prophets?
Last law-bearing prophet, you know how I tell you how it. When we say that he has brought a perfect book and perfect religion, as the Holy Quran says, Al-Yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati, that today we have perfected your religion. So that means now nobody can come to change it. So this is why we have to say that it means that after him now, no law-bearing prophet can come. And this is exactly what the meaning of Khatam-un-Nabiyyin is.
Now, just to follow up from that, there's a couple of questions on this theme. Somebody else has asked the question that if the Holy Prophet is the last bearing prophet and the promised Messiah is the Mahdi, does that mean there can still be prophets afterwards?
Yes, and because the same verses of the Holy Quran are there, the hadiths are there, which open the door of prophethood. So it's up to God to decide and when and where he would like to send the prophets.
Thank you. I'm going to unmute Sophia Amr. She would like to ask a question. Assalamu alaikum.
My question is that when we ask some Muslims about what sect they belong to, they reply that we're just Muslims, hum sirf Musliman hai, and we only follow Holy Prophet ﷺ and the Quran. And they say this by quoting the verse of the Holy Quran, which is in chapter 6, verse number 159. Indeed, those who have divided their religion and become sects, you, O Muhammad, are not with them in anything. Their affair is only to Allah, then He will inform them about what they used to do. So they say, we are not going to follow, we're not going to accept Ahmadiyyat or any other sect, which is of Islam, because Quran and Holy Prophet has told us to go against it. So how should we respond to this? Because it's very hard to do tabligh to them. Because if you know they are Deobandi, you can just go and to their books and do tabligh to them from that place. Or if they're Braille, you can just do tabligh from their books. So how should we go around this?
There are two answers. First is that the Holy Prophet ﷺ himself made the prophecy, and it is accepted by all Muslims without any exception. That he said that time will come, Muslim will be split into 73 sects. You know, these are the words of the Holy Prophet ﷺ in the book of Tirmidhi. Tirmidhi is one of the 6 authentic Mustafa hadiths. Sataftariku ummati ala salasim wa sab'ina. These are the words of the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. These are not our words. So was this prophecy not going to be fulfilled? And actually we see that this is fulfilled. Already these sects are there. So Holy Prophet said there will be 73 sects of my people. And then he said that only one will be on the right path. Kulluhum finnare illa wahidatan. All of them will be in fire. Illa wahidatan, except one. And you'll be surprised to know that 400 years ago, Hazrat Mullah Ali Qari, Rahmatullah, who 400 years, a long time ago, he explained this hadith of Tirmidhi, that what does it mean? And I would like to read to you what he said about it. He said, and this is in Mirqat, Commentary of Mishkat, Volume 1, page 204. He says about this hadith, which is about 73 sects. She says, Tilka snatani wa sab'una firqatan, kulluhum finnare. That according to this hadith, 72 sects will be in fire. Wal firqatun najiyatu hum ahlus sunnatil bazail Muhammadiyat. And the firqa najiyah, the one which will be saved from the fire, they will be from among the ahlus sunnah. That means they will not be Shias. But again, he knew that Allah Ta'ala told him that there are many Muslims who will call themselves ahlus sunnah. So then he says, "What tariqatun naqiyatul Ahmadiyya," that their particular sect will not only be from the ahlus sunnah, but from among the ahlus sunnah, they will be called al-Ahmadiyya. So is it not a strange thing that 400 years ago, a great scholar of Islam is saying that means he was told by God. Otherwise, how he could have said these things? And now actually we see that during the last 400 years, since he said it, there is no other sect who is known as Ahmadiyya distinctively as the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is known. And another thing is that the Holy Quran says that Hazrat Isa alayhi salam said, this is in Surah As-Saf, chapter 61, verse 7, that Hazrat Isa alayhi salam said that وَمُبَشِّرًا بِرَسُولٍ يَأْتِي مِنْ بَعْدِ اسْمِهِ أَحْمَدَ. I give the glad tidings of a messenger who will come after me. His name will be Ahmad. Now, if you ask any Muslim, who is this Ahmad? They will say Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay, so that means Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's prophecy about him was that an Ahmad will come, but anyhow, his name is Muhammad, personal name, which was given by the parents, but Allah has given him the name Ahmad as well. Now, one who will follow Ahmad, what will he be called? Will he not be Ahmadi? According to Arabic language. So according to Arabic language, according to this verse of the Holy Quran, every Muslim is already Ahmadi. And if he, rejects it and he denies it, in fact, it means that he does not know the Holy Quran. He's ignorant. Otherwise, how he can say that he is not Ahmadi? So every Muslim is Ahmadi Muslim. So this is what we are saying. We have not made a new sect. Other names of, for example, Deobandi, Brelvi, Shia, Sunni, this and that, none of these names have come in the Holy Quran. But this, because we all believe in Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and he is called Ahmad. So every Muslim is already Ahmadi. So we are just calling them back to their original names. And we say leave all other names and come back to the name which Allah has already given us. Is it clear?
Yes, Jazakallah. The next question has been sent over is Ahmadi Muslim belief is that the Messiah and Mahdi are one and the same person. In light of this, can you please help explain the hadith about the Mahdi leading the prayer and the Messiah following?
Right. You see, all the hadiths about Mahdi are not correct. And this is why Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim, who are the most well-known collector of hadiths of hadith, Bukhari and Muslim, as you know. So they have not taken any hadith of Mahdi. But they have taken the hadith about coming of the Isa ibn Maryam. Yanzilu fikum ibn Maryam hakaman adlan wa yaksuru saliba wa yaktubu khinzira. This hadith has come both in Bukhari and Muslim. But they have not taken the hadith about Mahdi. Why? It means that they didn't believe that there is a separate person. But there are some ahadith which has used this word that Isa ibn Maryam is also Imam Mahdi. So I will quote two hadiths here. One is from Ibn Majah, volume 2, page in the Kitab al-Fitan, which says, "Walal Mahdiyu illa Isa ibn Maryam," that there is no Mahdi but Isa ibn Maryam. That means they are not two different persons; they are one and the same. Then another hadith book is Musnad ibn Hanbal, in volume 2, page 411. It is said that the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "Yushiku man asha minkum an yalka Isa ibn Maryama, an yalka Isa ibn Maryama imaman mahdiyan wa hakaman adlan." That whoever will live among you, he will meet Isa ibn Maryam, who will also be Imam Mahdi, and he will also a just judge. So this hadith of Muslim ibn Hanbal is also telling us that Jesus, son of Mary, is the one who is called Imam Mahdi. So what it means that that is only one person. So in some hadiths it is mentioned that they are two different persons, that will just say that it's a misunderstanding, because any hadith which is against the Bukhari and Muslim and these hadiths, they are not acceptable. And as I just said, that this is the reason why as Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim, they have not taken any hadith about Imam Mahdi, because they knew that there is no separate person. There's only one, Isa ibn Maryam. So now the only thing is that how this Isa ibn Maryam was going to come. Again, because the Holy Quran has very clearly said that Isa alayhi salam, who came 2000 years ago, he was a prophet only for the children of Israel. Barasulan ila bani Israel. So if the same Isa alayhi salam come now, the Muslims will present before him this verse of the Holy Quran that, "Oh Jesus, you are messenger only for the children of Israel. How you can address us?" So this means that this is not that Isa. This is the Isa who will be born among Muslims as Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, and he will have some resemblance with Jesus Christ. This is why he is given the name Isa ibn Maryam. And now this point is explained by the previous ulama. We are not saying that it is just our view only. For example, Hazrat Muhyiddin ibn Arabi, rahmatullah, he writes in his commentary called Tafsir Araisul Bayan, volume 1, page 262. He says that Wajaba nuzuluhu fi akhir zamane bita'alluqihi bi badanin akhar. That the coming of Jesus Christ, it will be in another body, not that same person will come. He will come in the form of another person in the latter days. Wajaba nuzuluhu, his appearance is compulsory fi akhir zamane, in the latter days, bita'alluqihi bi badanin akhar, in the form of another person. Then Imam Sirajuddin ibn al-Wardi, rahmatullah, he also explained this point, and he wrote in Kharidatul Ajaib, Kharidatul Raghaib, page 263, printed in Egypt. He said, "Qalat firqatum min nuzul Isa khuruj rajulin yushbihu Isa fil fazli wa sharfi kama yuqalu li rajul khayri malakun wa li shariri shaytanun tashbiham bihima wa la yuradul ahyan." Now he says that the appearance of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, according to some ulama, will take place in the form of another person, and that person will have some resemblance with Jesus Christ in his attributes and his excellences. Yushbihu Isa fil fadle, that person who will come, he will have resemblance with Jesus Christ in some of his good qualities. Fil fazle wa sharfe, And then he gives the example and he says that as if somebody is a very wise person, Rajulul Khaire, we call him Malak, that he is angel. And if somebody is very wicked person, we call him Shaitan. So he says that why we say this? This is just a tashbiham bihima. This is a simile or a metaphor. So and we never mean that this is the same person. Bala yuradul ayan. That means that it doesn't mean that he is the same person. So in the same way, Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, will not come. Somebody else who will have resemblance with Jesus Christ, he will come. This is the what is already explained by the ulama of Islam, and this is how Allah Ta'ala has sent Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani Islam. Now you see, I also say in this at this time that if somebody insists that Jesus son of Mary, because that name is used there, so he should come, then I will ask them one question. I'll say that, tell us, the Holy Quran says that Isa al-Islam said that after me, the messenger who will come, his name will be Ahmad. That is in Surah As-Saf, chapter 61, verse 7. وَمُبَشَّرًا بِرَسُولٍ يَأْتِي مِن بَعْدِهِ اسْمُهُ Ahmad. But not a single place in the Holy Quran it is said that Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is Ahmad. 4 times the name of the Holy Prophet is mentioned, and always it says Muhammad, 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 Muhammad. Now, if a Christian asks you that the prophecy, your Quran says that the prophecy was that Ahmad will come, but your prophet's name, which was given to him by his parents, and the name by which he was known by everyone, was Muhammad. He was never called Ahmad. So then how can you say that this prophecy is fulfilled in his person? So what will be their answer? The only answer will be that this is the name which Allah Ta'ala gave him. Although the parents gave the name Muhammad, but Allah gave him the name Ahmad, and Allah can do this. So if we accept this, then why we can't accept this, that although the name of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani Islam is Ghulam Ahmad, but Allah Ta'ala has given him the name of Imam Mahdi, and also he has given him the name Jesus son of Mary. So how anybody can challenge it? Because if he will object here, then he will have to deny that Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is Ahmad. But we believe that Allah Ta'ala has the right to give any name to anyone. Okay.
Thank you. All right, just a reminder to everyone, if you would like to ask a question, there are 2 ways in which you can do that. You can either raise your hands. There's a function in Zoom, I believe, under More, and you can raise your hands and I will see it, and then I can unmute you. You can ask questions. Alternatively, you can write your question through the chat, and I will try and get to it. We do have quite a few questions already coming in, so without further ado, I'll ask Hafiz Ahmad Saab. He's raised his hand. Would you like, you're unmuted, you can ask a question. Hafiz Saab? Oh. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear us?
Assalamu alaikum.
We can hear you.
ये भाई साहब, मेरा सवाल ये है कि आजकल जो खत्म-उन-नबूव्वत के बारे में जो हमारे पाकिस्तानी दोस्त हैं, लमिंगटन में रहते हैं, इनको बुकें दी जाती हैं, बुकें पढ़ के कहते हैं यार आपकी बुकों में ऐसा जादू है कि हमें आपकी अहमियत की तरफ खींचता है। तो ये सिर्फ नफरत का जो चश्मा इनकी आंखों पे लगा हुआ है, इसको कैसे मिटाया जा सकता है? इस्लामी असूल की फिलॉसफी मैंने एक दोस्त को दी थी, मैंने कहा ये अपने घर में रखो, इसको पढ़ो। उसने पढ़ी और कहता है मेरे कारोबार में बरकत हुई है, लेकिन मैं अपनी बीवी से डरता हूँ, उसके सामने नहीं पढ़ सकता हूँ। तो ये इस किस्म की ये नफरत है अल्लाह ताला ने इनके दिलों में डाली हुई है, क्योंकि इनको पहले पता नहीं था ये जो मौलवी ने पुरानी बातें बताई हुई हैं। इस चीज को खत्म करने के लिए कोई बात बताएंगे इनको किस तरह मतलब बताया जाए? कहता है ठीक है, कहते हैं आपके खुतबे भी सुनते हैं, आपके हजूर रोते हैं रसूल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम का नाम लेके, हम मानते हैं आप रसूल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को आखिरी नबी मानते हैं, लेकिन कहते हैं कि ये जो नफरत हमारे दिलों में पैदा हो गई है, इसके लिए कोई तरीका बताएंगे कैसे ये हम इसको चश्मे को उतारें नफरत को?
Yes, I'll explain that question. Yes, I'll explain what is the question.
In English, please.
Yes, the question is that the non-Ahmadis, when we give them our books, they are very much impressed by it, but at the same time they say that our Maulvis have told us such things that our people hate Ahmadiyyat. So Hafiz Sahib is asking this question: how can we overcome this problem? How can we, remove this hatred from the hearts of these non-Ahmadis? So the answer is that whatever the prophets of Allah are doing, we have to follow the same example. The Holy Prophet ﷺ has said, the Holy Quran says, "In kuntum tuhibbun Allah fattabi'uni yuhibbukum Allah." That if you love Allah, follow me. So, is it not true that every prophet of God was hated in the same way as we are being hated today? Or even, in fact, even more than that. And they were all persecuted very heavily. You see? So, in the same way, it's happening to us. And this is why, when the Holy Prophet ﷺ was asked that, "Oh Prophet, you have said that there will be 73 sects and only one will be on the right path. How can we recognize that one?" And the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, "Ma ana alayhi wa ashab." Their circumstances, their condition will be the same as my condition is. That is the condition of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and his Sahaba. So as they were hated, in the same way, it was already destined and prophesied by Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ that the followers of Hazrat Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, they will also be persecuted and they will be hated. So this is how Allah's way is. Now I tell you what is the hikmat in this. There is a wisdom, great wisdom. Allah never do anything. Allah Ta'ala never does anything without any wisdom, because his name is Hakim. Unless you see people hate us, we will not turn to God Almighty. Nor we will see that we are actually acting upon the teaching of Allah, that is the teaching of the Holy Quran. Now, when we are criticized and we are asked many things, then we know that if we will do anything wrong, people will not accept us. So this is why we have to make sure that we always do good things so that nobody object on us. So this is the way to make us righteous. So this is why, in 1974, before 1974, many Ahmadis had become very weak in their faith and their practice in Pakistan. So Allah Ta'ala, changed the circumstances so that people become righteous. So this is, in fact, how Allah Ta'ala is protecting our righteousness. The other thing is that when you have difficulties, then you turn to God Almighty in prayers. And this is exactly what was told by the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that in the latter days when the Messiah will come, Yusaru Nabiyullahi wa ashabu, that the promised Messiah and his followers will be besieged, and then they will turn to God Almighty, and then Allah Ta'ala will accept their prayers. So don't we see that whenever there are difficult times, then we turn to Allah the Almighty, and then Allah Ta'ala, in fact, bring more people into Ahmadiyya Jamaat. And that is all after the persecution, after the, this enmity which is spread by these Maulvis. So, in fact, all this enmity, all this hatred, ultimately is going to help us. And always this happens. In fact, I gave you another example that, in 1988, Salman Rushdie wrote a book. And those people who was behind it, they thought that they will be able to create hatred against Islam by this way. But what happened? That after a short while, it was said in many countries, especially it was mentioned about Denmark, they said that no Quran was left in the bookshops. Every copy of the Holy Quran was taken by the non-Muslims, and they started reading it. So whenever there is, you see, persecution, hatred, and false propaganda, at that time people in fact start reading it, the books, and then by the grace of Allah they accept the truth. So this is the way of God Almighty, and we are seeing this, that already Ahmadiyyat is spreading in the world through this persecution. After all, despite all this persecution and hatred, Ahmadiyya Jamaat is now established in 213 countries of the world, and it has become the most, well-known community in the world, most peaceful community. And they also say in the Google, if you write that which is the fastest growing sect in Islam, they will say Ahmadiyya community. And it is true. More than 600,000 people join the Ahmadiyya community every year, and Hazur gave the full detail on the Jalsa Salana. Is there anyone else who can present this kind of report? None. Nowhere. See.
Thank you. Next question. Rashid Darsab, I've unmuted you. You can ask a question.
Ji.
Sorry, I think it's trying to see if I can get Rashid Darsab to unmute. Doesn't seem to be working. I'll see if I can come back to that.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
जी वालेकुम अस्सलाम रहमतुल्लाह।
आवाज आ रही मेरी? हाँ जी
आ रही है।
हाँ जी, मैंने पिछली दफा एक मुनाजरा से देख रहा था, और हमें उसमें अक्सर ये जवाब पेश करते हैं कि खातम-उन-नबीय्यीन, खातम का मतलब जरूरी नहीं आखिरी हो। और इसके लिए मैंने एक हदीस बताई थी कि अल्लाह रसूल करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने शायद फरमाया था कि मेरी मस्जिद आखिरी मस्जिद है, खातमुल मस्जिदी, इस तरह की कोई हदीस है। तो इसका मतलब हम कहते हैं कि वो मस्जिद उनके बाद मस्जिद बननी तो बंद नहीं हुई। तो वो मुझे मौलवी दूसरा जवाब दे रहा था कि उसमें लफ्ज है अंबिया का, ये खातमुन-नबी मस्जिद यानी अंबिया की आखिरी मस्जिद है। इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आम मस्जिद आखिरी नहीं है। इसमें क्या हकीकत है? ये ऐसी कोई हदीस है जो जिसमें सिर्फ यही लिखा हुआ मस्जिद सिर्फ अंबिया की आखिरी है, खातम है?
जी। So the question is about another hadith of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, in which he has said, Inni akhirul anbiya'i. This is in fact the hadith. Inni akhirul anbiya'i, which means, Inni, surely I, akhir, last, anbiya'i, of the messengers. I am last of the messengers. Now, in fact, these people, when they read it, we should ask them, can you please read the full hadith? Why, you are hiding one part of the hadith and only presenting one hadith? And you'll be surprised that, as you know, if somebody just say, La taqrabu salata, do not go near the prayer, so can you get the right message? We have to read the next part as well, where Allah Almighty say, La taqrabu salata wa antum sukara. Do not go near the prayer when you don't know what you are saying. That means that you must know what you are saying. For example, if you are sleepy and you are unable to understand the prayer, at that time don't say prayer. First you have your sleep and then pray. This is what it means. So in the same way, the full hadith is that the Holy Prophet said, Inni akhirul anbiya'i wa masjidi haza akhirul masajid. That I am the last prophet, or I am the last prophet, and my mosque, this mosque, and he was referring to the mosque of Medina, Masjid al-Nabawi, and this mosque of mine is the last mosque. Now we say that if you say that Akhirul Anbiya means that no prophet of any kind can come after the Prophet ﷺ, then it will mean that no mosque of any kind can be built after the mosque of Hazrat Muhammad ﷺ. But no, we understand that if a mosque is built which is under the teaching of Islam, which is preaching the teaching of Islam and teaching of the Holy Quran, that is not against this hadith of the Holy Prophet. Although it is said, although in the
Bajwa Sahib, you've muted. You become muted. Bajwa, can you hear me? You've become muted. Let me see if I can unmute you.
Under the teaching of the Holy Quran, and where the teaching of the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet is taught, then why can't we say that Akhirul Anbiya means that such prophet who preach religion other than Islam, such prophet will be against Akhirul Anbiya, but those prophets who come, who only teach the Holy Quran, who only ask people to follow the example of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, how can you say that they are against this hadith? And as you know, as far as the Ahmadiyya Jamaat is concerned, when anybody joins the Ahmadiyya community, he has to sign a Bai'at form, and on that form there are 10 conditions, and one of the 10 conditions is that I will follow the Quran and Hadith. Qala Allahu wa Qala Rasul. Qala Allah means what Allah has said, that is Holy Quran, and Qala Rasul means what the Holy Prophet ﷺ has said. So what we are saying that we will follow what the Quran says and we will follow what Hadith says. And in fact, wherever we differ from other Muslims, there we differ only because they say something against the Holy Quran. We never differ anyone where the Holy Quran is not with us. You can give any example. For example, we say Hazrat Islam has passed away. Why we say it? Because the Holy Quran says it. And they don't have any, a verse of the Holy Quran which says the same thing. Or for example, now we're discussing the subject of Khatam-un-Nabiyyin. So whatever we are saying, we are presenting the verse of the Holy Quran. Is it not the verse of the Quran which says, Allah jastafi min al-malaikati rasulun min an-nas? Bring any Mawli to give us the meaning of this verse of the Quran. Allah is Allah. Jastafi chooses and will continue to choose. Jastafi is pere muzare. Muzare means present and future tense. Min al-malaikati, from among the angels. Rasul and Rasul. The word Rasul is used here. Wa min an-nas, and from among the men as well. How anybody can, take this verse away from the Holy Quran? So this is why whatever we say is only we are calling people to the Holy Quran.
Exactly. I'm just conscious of the time. If it's okay, Bajwa, we'll take 2 more questions.
Mm-hmm.
The second from last one we'll take is the verses you have quoted clearly indicates that a prophet can come. The question is, why do non-Ahmadi Muslims not accept these? Does that mean they have a different interpretation of the Quran?
You see, the thing is that everybody wants to save his position. If, for example, today they say, all of them, that yes, we accept what Naseem says, whatever Ahmadiyya Jamaat says. Number one, it is against the established way of Allah the Almighty. Because never ever any prophet of God came who was just accepted straight away. In fact, Holy Quran says, Ya hasratan ala ibadim ma yatihim min rasulillah kanu bihi yastahzi'un. That Allah Ta'ala says that there was not a single prophet of God Almighty who was not ridiculed by the people, who was rejected by the people. So if today Hazrat Mirza Sahib is accepted by these ulama straight away, in fact, that will be a proof of his falsehood. And if he is being denied and rejected and persecuted, that's the proof of his truthfulness, because this is how every prophet of God was treated. Now, another reason why these people reject is that if they accept, then their position will be gone, and you see, they will have no income. With the income which they are having now, I tell you how much income they have. How much income they have. You see, once when I was in Birmingham, I was told this by one gentleman who lives in Leamington Spa. Hafisa was here speaking just a few minutes ago. So I'm just giving this example of Leamington Spa. So I was told that in one school, one day the teacher asked the students, just young students, what will you become, in future? And you see, somebody said, I'll become doctor. Somebody said, I'll become a teacher, and different. But one boy said, I will become Maulvi. So the other people asked him, why you said this? He said that, as far as the other people are concerned, I see them, they are always hand to mouth. But when I see these Maulvis, you see, within days, you see they become rich. So he said, this is why I want to become Maulvi. So this is the situation of the non-Ahmadi Maulvis. And how they earn money, you see, just I give you one example. And that's another incident which I personally, had. And once, somebody died, and so non-Ahmadi died. And that's also again in Birmingham. And somebody died there, and non-Ahmadi, and we went to just console. And while we were there, because everybody didn't know that we are Ahmadis, and all other people were non-Ahmadis, so they were just talking to each other. So one person says to the other, "See, did you go to so-and-so Maulvi Sahib to get the taweez?" He said, "Yes." So he said, "What happened?" He said, "You see, nothing, no cure, nothing happened." So he said that now you should go to so-and-so, another Maulvi Sahib. He will charge you more, but you will see the result. Then he said that, yes, I have been to him as well. He said, yes, did he take more money? He said, yes. But he said, no, then now you should go to another Maulvi Sahib. He will get even more charges. And but, you may get cured. And you'll be surprised that sometimes they are charging £100, £200, £300. It depends, what is the condition of the person. And this daily, thing, what these people are doing, and they're earning money. This is just one way. Otherwise, another incident I tell you, that one person in Slough, he became Ahmadi a few years ago. So I asked him, what made you Ahmadi? So how did you decide? He said that I was member of the Masjid committee in Slough. And there, you see, whenever we had to arrange a jalsa, we used to go to the Maulvi Saiban, the ulamas, and we used to negotiate how much they will charge. And, sometimes they are asking a very high amount, and we are saying, no, please, it is too much, we can't afford, and then they will ultimately come to some certain amount. But he said, here in the Ahmadiyya Jamaat, I have seen with my own eyes that not a single pound is asked by any Maulvi. And they just, you ask them, would you please come? And they just come. And he said, this is what has made me Ahmadis, that these are the people of God. So this is the reason why people, these non-Ahmadis, create false propaganda against us, that they will lose a lot of money. But, this is how ultimately they will have to lose.
Thank you. Now, the very final question I'll take very quickly would be, it's from the text service. It says, a non-Ahmadi brother sent me a reference from Rouhani Khazain, chapter 18, page 477, where Mirza Ghulam Ahmad al-Islam says that his words are the same value as the Quran. Can you please explain this? I can only find the reference in Persian.
Yes. You see, number one, Rouhani Khazain is not one book. Rouhani Khazain is a set of books. There are 23 volumes. And in each volume, there are, in some volume, there is one book, but in most of the books, volume, there are more than one books, and altogether there are 91 books. So it's not chapter, maybe he meant volume. So if he means Rouhani Khazain, volume 14, page, whatever it is, okay, that's fine. At the moment, I don't have in front of me, but I can answer the in principle. So can you please read the last part again?
Yes, it says that the promised Messiah Islam says his words are as a Quran.
Yeah. You see, how is it possible that Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Qadiani Islam can say that my words are Quran? He can say that my words are the explanation of the Holy Quran. That is what he can say. Because he always calls us that you should always read the Holy Quran and follow it. Let me read just one quotation of the Prophet Messiah, peace be upon him, about this. He says, तमाम आदमजादों के लिए अब कोई रसूल और शफी नहीं मगर मोहम्मद मुस्तफ़ा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, सो तुम कोशिश करो कि सच्ची मोहब्बत उस जाहो जलाल के नबी के साथ रखो और उसके गैर को उस पर किसी नौ की बड़ाई मत दो ता आसमान पर तुम निजात याफ्ता लिखे जाओ. And then further he says, after a few lines, he says, निजात याफ्ता कौन है? वो जो यकीन रखता है जो खुदा सच है और मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम उसमें और तमाम मखलूक में दरमियानी शफी है और आसमान के नीचे ना उसके हम मर्तबा कोई और रसूल है और ना कुरान के हम रुतबा कोई और किताब है. This is the belief of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani Islam, and this is Ruhani Khazain again, volume 19, page 13 and 14. And what it means, he says, that for all the children of Adam, there is now no messenger and intercessor other than the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the chosen one. May peace and blessing of Allah be upon him. So you should endeavor to cultivate true love for this magnificent and majestic Prophet and not place anyone else above him in any manner, so that you may be counted in heaven among those who have attained salvation. And then explaining this salvation, he says that indeed true salvation is the one which manifests its light in this very world. Who is the one who is delivered? He indeed who believes that God is truth and that the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, is the intercessor between God and mankind. So also he believes that under the firmament of heaven there is no prophet equal to him, equal to Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and that there is no book of the status of the Quran, and for none else God ordained that he should live forever with his message and his law, but this noble prophet Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa lives forever. So this is the belief of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani Islam, that there is no book equal to the Holy Quran, and there is no book equal to the Holy Prophet. There is no prophet equal to Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay.
Jazakallah. We are run over on time, so unfortunately we are going to have to call this session to an end there. Sahib will just do the closing remarks. So I'm going.
Assalamu alaikum. Again, Jazakallah to Naseem Bajwa Sahib for today's session. And yes, we have run out of time, unfortunately, but I believe we still have some questions left. So if you wish to send your questions, you can please still do so on tabligh@khuddam.co.uk, and inshallah we'll pass them on to Bajwa Sahib, and inshallah they can be answered. And Jazakallah to everyone for joining us today. And the message that we send out for next week, at the bottom of the message we also insert the YouTube links to the previous sessions for catch up. So inshallah, I believe next Sunday we will start our discussion on topics related to Christianity and how to guide them to the truth of Islam and the but sir, could you confirm that? Are we going to start next week? Yeah.
Inshallah, yeah.
Inshallah. So Jazakallah to everyone, and Jazakallah to Bajwa Sahib, and inshallah we'll meet everyone next week, inshallah.
What is the attendance today?
Today we topped at 114, I believe.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.